Hey, my e-friends. So today we're going to talk about my next project. Looking at so my 2021 Mazda Miata ND2 is where this is going, and what my intention is to put an ODB reader in there and get some remote display of some of the information that we can pull from the system. And I'm targeting doing that in the right side driver's vent display. You can see this is the OEM unit removed, bits and pieces removed right now that I was using to model that. I'll talk a bit about that after. So the idea is what I want to do here is what my goal is. This is to get obviously this remodeled into something that I can then put a display as well as a microcontroller in that will talk to via Bluetooth a ODBII reader that'll plug into the car. This one in particular, I'm using the Vgate iCar Pro. You can see that there. That unit is, I chose this unit because one, it obviously works for others, and two is it also has a power down feature, so that after essentially 30 seconds of inactivity, it detects the car is off and will actually power itself down. It's, you know, these things never truly totally power themselves down because it actually has a wake up function too, but they go into deep sleep mode, which uses you know, vicinity of microamps versus milliamps. Basically microamps are a non-issue for a car battery. So anyway, I'm going to use that. I haven't actually got all my components, so I'm sort of working through this bit by bit, but I've already, you know, modeled, and I'll pop up. I'm going to pop up to the right here a view on what I've been using I use Tinkercad. It's an online application, great application actually. It takes a bit of getting used to, and it's actually built by AutoCAD, but I'll show you that up here and give you an idea of what it looked like to model this guy here. But this is actually the actual unit. Is in pieces right now. It's sort of still somewhat draft, but the idea is that, you know, you've got, that's the stock ring that I intend to keep. The idea here is this is actually in multi-parts right now, but it will be glued together when I'm done. But the idea is that that's obviously the shell unit. I've already put foam to match the foam on the stock unit. That sort of slides and has a pressure fit into the venting that's inside the back area. And then this would be the mounting plate for the screen. Since I haven't got all my parts, I'm actually just showing other units that I typically use for other projects. But, you know, the idea is that this is a very small screen. That's, I think, a 1.3 inch or 1.2 inch screen. I'm planning to have a 2-inch screen, so to fit this area here. You can see that the idea is that with the vent ring mounted, I've actually got little detents here. With the vent ring mounted, that will allow for airflow. You can barely see it here, but airflow, can't really get any background lighting here, but airflow will come through these little edges here and around. You know, it'll still process some airflow, not a lot, but a bit. I'll show you a back view of it. You can see that there. And the idea is you've got, you know, this mounted to this. You can see it sort of snaps in there. And then I've got this piece will be glued in here, but it's just a mounting plate for the controller and some other bits. But the idea is the controller will, I'll mount it onto here like this. I've also got a carrier board for, it's called an FPC breakout, because the screen that I'm getting actually has, I've got a hookup close to 30 pins. So it's got a 40 pin ribbon cable that will come through the bottom. Oops, there goes that. 40 pin ribbon cable that will come through the back here and up around and plug into the carrier board that I'll mount underneath here. And then again, the microcontroller will be on top here, and then I'll just have the wiring go between the two of those, and I'll probably just use either double-sided tape or a bit of goop glue to glue those two pieces to that. And that'll basically be the controller and the actual screen, obviously. And then in terms of powering it, all I need to power the microcontroller is going to be essentially a USB cable, or I'll probably pull a 12 volt to 5 volt with a switching regulator, or 3 volts, depending on which way I want to go with this. These guys can take in, you know, standard USB cable, and they'll deal with the 5-volt conversion. Either way, I've got to take 12 volts from the car down to something, so I'll do that. So I only need to find a way to run a cable into this system. I'm not overly worried about that and how to do that. I'll probably end up having to maybe even drill a small hole on the side of this to run a cable into this unit, and then just make it long enough that I could, in the future, pull the vent in and out. Obviously, I can't make this all permanent mounting. So that is, you know, give you an idea of where I'm going, how far I've come along. So the idea is that when I've got everything figured out, I will glue this together. You know, it's still serviceable in the sense that I will, you know, obviously be able to remove it from the car, and also work on, you know, I'll try to find a way to make this, manage this whole system with the electronics, as oftentimes I pull things back apart and work on them. But worst case scenario, it's you know, I'm pulling this out with glue on it and re-gluing it, because the glue I use is not like a permanent glue, but it's a very good, it's got very good adhesion. This is actually the product that I use. Love this stuff. This is my go-to. I use it for all my electronics projects. Dries clear. It's very, it's quite flexible, like, but it holds, you know, it'll hold this together without a problem, and allow for me to remove the vent. So there's not an issue there. In terms of electronics, I didn't mention this, but again, these are just samples that I'm using just to demonstrate. But I'm actually going to be using, again, a 2.1-inch display it's actually from a company called BuyDispay in China. The trick is it actually is made with an HDMI breakout, so it's made for sort of Raspberry Pis and other a little more larger scale stuff. But of course, I want to find a way around that, and I actually found somebody online that actually has done it. The only trick is you need, you know, again, some 30 wires to hook to a microcontroller. So I found another ESP unit, an ESP32-S3 that I bought. It's a little bit longer than this. It's about that long. It will allow for me to get the necessary output or connectivity, the display connectivity for the 2.1 inch. There's actually, I think it's 27 wires. So it's an SPI and RGB interface. So it's quite a few wires that it needs to talk to the display. Unfortunately, it's not just a SPI, and sadly, I don't need a lot of speed. I'm not going to be doing video on this thing. It's really just rendering, you know, some graphics and you know, text and numbers, right? That gets updated, you know, maybe every second or maybe every 500 milliseconds. So it's not high demand. Again, don't need video, but that device, that display I'm getting is actually made to do, I think 60 frames per second video. If the controller could feed it. Anyway, I'm going to play around with that. Fairly confident I'll get that working, but of course, not sure. But we'll see when I get those parts, and I will I'll post a second phase video to show you, you know, hopefully to show you those pieces together and working in demo mode with this Bluetooth reader. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned. And please, if you like what you see, please like, and obviously subscribe so you can get updates on my future videos in this series, as well as if you hit the little bell icon, it'll actually alert you when new videos are posted from me. Thank you.